Good morning, everyone. Good morning, classmates. Good morning, Doc Haboya. I am Edmar Panuelos, and together with me is Ma'am Christine Monique Ramao, and we are assigned to report attitude and job satisfaction. So for today, I was assigned with job satisfaction. So what's job satisfaction? That is something that we'll try to uncover and discover as we go on with our lesson. So we are all working, and the attitude and the satisfaction that we had in our work deeply affects our performance. So, knowing the satisfaction of each and every individual would help us identify key areas and aspects wherein we can actually help out. So, if we know what gives satisfaction to people, then we can encourage them to work properly. So, my task for today is to be able to discuss what job satisfaction is all about. Okay, so what is job satisfaction? So, by definition, job satisfaction is a positive feeling about one's job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. So, meaning to say, it's a feeling that an employee is feeling when he or she has received some positive feedback or criticism. Meaning to say, it's a good feeling that a person knows employees appreciates. These are the things that we can actually feel if we're doing something good. So evaluation of its characteristics, I mean to say there are different characteristics that makes one satisfied with the work. So this basic definition is somehow an overview of what job satisfaction is all about. Again, by definition, job satisfaction is a positive feeling of one's job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. Job satisfaction. How satisfied are people in their job? So it depends on facets of satisfaction. So what do we mean by facets of satisfaction? Tend to be less satisfied with pay and promotion opportunities. So meaning to say, it's not only about pay and promotion. Satisfaction is something else. Although I must admit that pay or salary is the number one thing that satisfies an employee, but there are also other factors. Promotion opportunity is also one. So, but it doesn't end with promotion opportunities. So there are so many facets that we can get that will satisfy an employee. So we cannot always say that it's because of salary and opportunities. So that's why I'm satisfied. There are other things aside from payment and job and promotion opportunities. Job satisfaction is an emotional response to a job situation. It determined by how well outcomes meet or exceed expectations. Job satisfaction represents several related attitudes. So job satisfaction is an emotional response to a job situation. This our response to a situation we're in. Just similar to other emotions, it varies, it changes. So if one's feel happy at this point in time simply because the situation in their job is actually good, but there will come a time that you won't feel good with the job. So with that, your satisfaction is kind of low. It determined by how well outcomes met or exceed expectation. Most of the time, if we're always meeting the expectation or if we are always receiving good feedback or the outcome is always excellent, so therefore we will be having job satisfaction because simply because you're doing your job properly. So you will be satisfied knowing the idea that you're actually doing your job properly. Job satisfaction represents several related attitudes. So what are those attitudes? So these job satisfaction is more of the attitude than the behavior. So meaning to say, when we talk about attitude, it changes, it varies, it differs from a person to a situation to a result to a feedback. So unlike behavior, that behavior takes time, it's kind of included, inculcated, and rooted within our culture. Job satisfaction is just like an attitude. It can change instantly. So these are some of the attitudes associated with job satisfaction. Okay. Number one, work itself. So the work itself would somehow give us the feeling of satisfaction. If you're actually doing the things that you like, for example, you really like writing, then you were asked to be a script writer. Then therefore, the satisfaction you're getting from being a writer, since that's something that you like, would add up to the job satisfaction that you're feeling because you're doing what you like. So it's really important for us to identify and know what are the work or job that we always wanted. Because if we can put that as a profession, then satisfaction would be higher. If we are actually doing what we love doing, then it is no longer a job, but more on a fulfillment and satisfaction of the things that make us whole and complete. Next, co-workers. So the job itself can be easier if the people around us or the people working with us are actually giving us positive feelings. So if the workers that we have is always giving us positive feedback, encouraging us, acknowledging our good things, then we would feel satisfied with the job, regardless of the hardship of the job. Sometimes we have tasks that are quite hard, but if there are people who are willing to help us out, if there are people who always boost our morale, then there's no hard work anymore. All job would be easier for us if our co-workers are actually helping us out, even by merely giving us moral support, or even through prayers. Those support would make us feel good. Okay, next attitude is promotional opportunities or promotion opportunities. If I am aware that if I excel on the task that was given to me, then I would be given a chance to be promoted. Then therefore, I would always do and make sure that I give my 100%. Because who doesn't want to be promoted? Because aside from the fact that if you are promoted, you'll be receiving extra, like extra salary, bonuses, and at the same time, the feeling that you have accomplished something good is always there. So therefore, promotional or promotion opportunities will always encourage us to do good, and this will make us satisfied. Because a dead-end profession would most likely lead to a person or an employee who will not exert so much. Because why? Simply because halimbawa, if I am working and I know that there's no such promotion in the job, so I'll just give them what I can do. Pero kapag alam ko na kapag ginalingan ko pa, mapopromote ako, I can go to a higher level, then therefore I would always exceed the expectation. Because promotion is always good. Next, job security. I'll be giving my 100% effort if I know that I am secured in my job. If I know that there's no reason, there's no invalid reason that would remove me from work, then therefore I would be satisfied. And if I am satisfied and I am secured, then I'll be performing well. Because security will give us satisfaction. I will no longer fear that one day I would go to the office and my boss would tell me, "Oh, sorry, you are fired." So that feeling would make us feel bad. So if I know that I am secured with the job, then that would give us satisfaction. Next, supervision. Everybody needs guidance. So if my coworkers or if my heads, my bosses would always supervise me, will always help me and guide me, then therefore I would be satisfied. I would come up with the output that they expect because I was guided by them. So I wouldn't be having hard time in making sure that the result or output is good because I was guided properly. Next, working condition. Conducive working condition is always a good factor for job satisfaction. If I know that I am safe, if I know that the workplace is not hazardous, I know that my surrounding is not toxic, then therefore I would be satisfied with the work. I would be able to work properly and efficiently. I can give my 100% best because the working condition is always good. So, again, these are the different attitudes associated with job satisfaction. work itself, co-workers, promotion opportunities, job security, supervision, and working conditions. So moving forward, so there are different influences on job satisfaction because like what I said a while ago, job satisfaction is an attitude. So therefore, there are some factors that would influence our job satisfaction. So the first one is the outcomes and rewards. So if the outcome is always good, if the outcome and output is always excellent, then therefore I would be satisfied. Okay, if I will always, if the output of the students, for example being a teacher, if the output of the students are always great, they exceeded the expectations that we set, then therefore you'll be satisfied. Personally, I would be satisfied as a teacher if I know that my students have learned something from me, and the output would tell that. If the output is exactly what we are expecting from them, then I would be satisfied with my job. Next, reward is part of it. If I am receiving reward, and that's fulfilling and satisfying. Even if I'm just doing my job, then I would be recognized. If I will be rewarded for doing great things, then therefore I will be satisfied because I know that my bosses or the people around me are acknowledging what I have done and what I am doing. So reward is always a good factor for job satisfaction. Potential for progress. If there's growth in my work, then therefore I would be satisfied. If the work is not dead end, I can be a step higher than I was before, then that would give me satisfaction because progress is always progress. Growth and development is also a factor that would give us satisfaction. Nature of supervision. So what's this nature of supervision? If the guidance of the head is direct, concrete, visible, then I would be satisfied. Because sometimes we'll be asking ourselves, um, who are guiding us? Why am I doing something that's not the expected output? Sometimes supervision is needed. So if, for example, during an observation, my principal have noticed that there is something that I am doing that is not actually helping the learners. So my principal could suggest to me things that I can do. So with that kind of supervision, then therefore I would be able to be better. I would, and I can receive progress. And if I am progressing, then therefore the output and outcome is doing well. So supervision is essential factor. So that's why monitoring of employees, monitoring of teachers is part of development plan of the schools. So if my principal, if my head teachers, if my coordinators are actually helping me out, supervising me, then I would be able to come up with a good and excellent output. Working conditions and workers, like what I said a while ago, working conditions and our coworkers would help us satisfied. Because most of the time we are facing different and difficult situations and job. But if there are people around us telling us that, "Ooh, you can do that. Ooh, if you need help, you can ask me help. If you needed something, I can provide you with this one." So those words would give us positive outlook, and that would give us a good working condition. Kasi alam mo na maganda ang kinabibilangan mo. Alam mo that your surroundings is actually good. So if that's the case, and therefore you would be satisfied with the job. Kahit gaano kahirap ang trabaho, if your co-workers are helping you out, then job will be easier. So influences on job satisfactions. So moving forward, what determines job satisfaction? So what are the determinants? So these are the determinants. Freedom, equitable rewards, supportive working condition, supportive colleagues, personality, job fit. Number one, freedom. When I talk about freedom, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can do whatever you like. Because freedom is not always about doing what you like, but it is accountable with responsibility. If you can own up to your job, then therefore that's freedom. So, meaning to say, you will be satisfied with your job if you can do what you think is necessary. For example, me as a teacher, I can develop my own materials, I can come up with my strategies and techniques. So that's freedom. Without um, disregarding the content of my lesson, that would help me be satisfied because I can come up with innovative plans. So freedom would mean allowing employees to do the job based on how they see the effectivity of their strategy. Because sometimes we must admit there are new techniques and strategies coming out. So if we can try that one out, and if the bosses would allow us to do our style, then that would be freedom. Next, equitable reward. So reward is always good, okay? If we are receiving rewards from doing our job, that's a determinant of job satisfaction because simply we will be satisfied because we know that we are being acknowledged for the task that we are doing. So, but sometimes rewards must be used properly because people have the tendency to do things because they will be rewarded. Reward is just an addition, okay, for acknowledging that you have done something good. But still, reward is always one of the determinant of job satisfaction. Next, supportive working conditions. So if the working condition is actually excellent, conducive to people, that is job satisfaction. Supportive colleagues or supportive workers or co-workers, yeah, it's always a plus factor. Next, your personality. If your personality is always satisfied, then you will have better satisfaction. Because may mga tao talaga na medyo mababa yung, not necessarily mababa. What I'm saying is that there are some people who can appreciate easily. There are some people, there are some personalities always suited to the job. Then therefore, if your personality is suited to your job, then therefore you will be satisfied. Job fit. This is really, really important. If the job is fitted to you, then therefore you'll be satisfied. Because if what you're doing is something that you like, then therefore you're suited and perfect for the job. Because there would be cases and scenarios wherein you will be asked to do something that you don't know. If that's the case, then therefore you won't be satisfied with the output simply because you are not aware of it. So job fit is essential in job satisfaction. Causes of job satisfactions. Number one, pay only influences jobs satisfaction to a point. So meaning to say, it's not always about payment or salary. At some point, yes, it is indeed. Such increase in salary would give you satisfaction, but it's not always about salary. To a certain point, pay can give you satisfaction, but not always. Personality can influence job satisfaction. Definitely. Your personality would give and influence your job satisfaction because if you're always pessimist, so whatever things that you do, you'd always be negative. So your personality would help you to be satisfied. How employees can express dissatisfaction. So sometimes you are not satisfied with the work. So therefore, you should express that to so that the employees and the bosses would have an idea on how they can improve because the development and improvement of an employee is a development and improvement of the entire company. Okay, number one is loyalty, possibly waiting for conditions to improve. Sometimes this is one way of expressing dissatisfaction. You always highlight and pinpoint loyalty. You're always hoping, you're always waiting and considering that things might improve. You will just wait and bear the situation, and you're just going to wait for the time wherein situation will get better. So that's loyalty. That's how you express dissatisfaction by remaining loyal to the company. Next, voice. Active and constructive attempts to improve conditions. Sometimes you can actually talk out. Okay? You can go to your boss and tell them, I think, sir, this is the problem. I think, sir, I have this problem on this. There's no problem with that. You should actually do that. You need to voice out your actions, opinions, and suggestions. Because who knows, your suggestions might be the solution to the company's problem. So if you're not satisfied with what something that's happening, then you can talk to them. But be careful because baka naman ikaw lang ang nakakapansin yan and the rest are actually thinking of something else. Baka ikaw lang. So, you need to ask people first kung pare-parehas kayo ng nararamdaman. Okay? Next, neglect. Allowing conditions to degrade. Eto, this one is a bit nega. Kasi bakit? Hahayaan mo na lang na magbago yung condition. Ignore mo lang. Matatapos din yan. Medyo pangit kasi parang you just waited for the problem to be solved. Eh kung meron kang suggestion, might as well tell it. But sometimes it is a solution of some people. Okay, lastly, exit. Behavior directed towards leaving the organization. If you're not really satisfied with the job and there's nothing the company can do to ease that dissatisfaction, then maybe that's a time for you to leave the job. You can always look for a job that will give you satisfaction. Because if you're no longer satisfied with the job, then therefore you're not doing great things. You're always questioning, you're always doubting your output. So if that's the case, then therefore might as well exit. So the effect of job satisfaction on employees' performance. Papaano nga ba? How does job satisfaction affects employees' performance? Okay, number one, satisfaction and productivity. Yung positive feeling. If you have the positive feeling, you'll be productive. You'll be creating good output. You'll be exceeding the expectation. So, ganun siya. Kapag satisfied ka sa trabaho mo, magiging productive ka. Satisfaction and absenteeism. So, if you're satisfied with the job, you won't be absent. You'll always be on time. You will always go to work. Kasi satisfied ka. You're feeling good with the job. So why would you be absent if you're feeling good with the job? So it will affect a lot. So ibig sabihin, if employees are satisfied, then absenteeism would be lessened. Satisfactions and turnover. When we talk about turnover, it's the output. It's what going back. It's what we are doing to the company. Kasi nga bakit kapag satisfied ka, you're giving and helping the company in return. So you're turning and giving them back the favor. So those are the topics that we have. So if you have questions, you may ask me some questions or you may send me a message if you are uncertain. So for clarification. So again, my topic is about job satisfaction. So this is all for today. This is my topic. So thank you classmates. Thank you Doc Haboya. Have a nice day.